Welcome back everybody to another PowerShell tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about the 6 popular parameter options in 5 minutes. So without further ado, let's hit the shell. Alright, today we're going to be talking about 6 popular parameter options in 5 minutes. These options will be used heavily throughout your code. So the first one is going to be mandatory. So mandatory is basically saying you have to provide this value of this parameter for this function to operate. If the parameter is not specified, then the commandlet will go to the PowerShell window and prompt you to put it in, and it will not process the data until you input that information. The next parameter option is going to be value from pipeline. Now, when you're sending data over the pipe from one commandlet to another, that's where this comes into play. It's going to take whatever data that is, it's going to try to process it as best as it can. So, for a value from pipeline by property name, it's looking at the key value pair that's coming over the pipe or the property name. As long as that property name matches the same name as your parameter that you have this set on, it's going to try to process that data. We'll show an example of this later as well. Another one is going to be position. Position is what position or what order you're passing data in. So if you were to use like getIDUser and you just pass a user to ID after the commandlet without any parameters, you notice it always works. That's because if you ever to look at the help of getIDUser, the first position or the first parameter is going to be identity, and that's how it knows how to process that data. And that's how you would use position. You would specify this on each one of your parameters and what order you want them to go in. For HelpMessage, this is super helpful if you have a parameter and you want to give more information on it. So basically, think about we make a parameter that's mandatory and we don't pass that value. Well, this is going to throw a prompt on the screen where you type in a certain key combination, and it's going to give you helpful information on what data you should provide in this parameter. And the last one is going to be validate set. This is one of my favorite ones. It adds tab completion and it adds data validation. So basically, when you get to this parameter, you can hit tab and it will auto-populate the values, but it will also not allow you to provide any values that's not in your validate set. So for this example, we have morning, afternoon, and evening. If you try to give any other values, then it's not going to work. And we're going to show examples of that in a few seconds as well. This is how you combine them all together. So this last snippet is basically showing you how you add all these different parameter options on top of a parameter. And our parameter in this case is param name. That's the name of our parameter, and it's a string value. So here we have a function called get greeting, and basically when we run this we have time of day, and that's a mandatory value. It's also accepted from the pipeline and it comes in the first position, and then it's just going to say either good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. So here we can see the help message. This is what the help message syntax looks like when we're doing this, and if I type in the exclamation and question mark, you can see that it gives us the helpful information of what I need to input, and then I input afternoon and it gives me good afternoon. Next, we're going to do get greeting, and we're just going to pass a value without specifying the parameter. And this is where the position comes in, and it knows exactly how to use that first string or that first parameter we're passing it. Now next, we're going to do time of day. This is our tab completion for the validate set. As you can see, I'm tabbing through the information, hit enter, and it works just fine. Next, we're going to do value from pipe, and basically we're going to give it a value, and it's going to throw that value over the pipe, and it's going to put it in that first parameter, and it's going to make sure it meets that criteria, which it does, and it says good evening. Now the last one we're going to do is this is where we do value from pipeline by property name. So I'm creating a custom object right now, and this custom object is going to have a property name of time of day, and then it's going to have a value of either morning, afternoon, or evening. So here we're making the time of day as the name, and then we're going to give the value of that, which is going to be afternoon. And then I'm going to show you what this looks like in the output. So you can see we have time of day as the property name and the value afternoon, and that's where this is going to get passed through. It's going to match the same name as our parameter, time of day, and it's going to go ahead and prompt us for good afternoon. And this is the last thing showing that the validate set is going to throw an error message if you don't give it a value that it's expecting. Well, that's 6 parameter options in 5 minutes. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.